Hey guys, welcome to Midweek Services here at TheEdge Church on what is a very exciting week, because this weekend we are not only bringing you the online experiences that we have been for these past 7 weeks, we're also opening our brand new facility here, and we're so excited. But before we get into the details of all of that, I know that Aimee and I, we've had a lot of conversations about this whole COVID-19 crisis and what it's meant to go through that, and we wanted to talk about that maybe a little bit with you guys.
Yeah, I think what's really interesting is we're all going to have a different story of how this affected us. And that's what I kind of like to ask people, especially believers, is what has God taught you during this time? Because I know that God doesn't waste any moment in our life. And if we're paying attention, He had something really specific to kind of breathe into us during this time, and still does, because we're not completely out of it yet. So, Randy, let's just turn the interview table on you right now, and I'll let you share with everyone what God has taught you through the past 7 weeks or so.
All right, for sure. I know that there's so many lessons, and it seems like it's just now, kind of after several weeks of going through this, that some of these things have become more clear to me. But one thing I've noticed is that it's so important for us to have that relationship with Christ. And I've seen people who are responding to this crisis who don't, and I've seen people who are responding to this crisis who do. And I can think of one person in particular who I know doesn't have that relationship, and what I sense is a lot of fear and even maybe anger about the whole situation. And they are just really, there's a lot of uncertainty for them. You can tell that they're scared, and I can kind of understand that. If your worldview is that there is no God, it is a really scary time. But then on the flip side, I can think of somebody right now, and some of you might even know this person, but I'm not going to tell you their name, but this person is going through a lot of change in life right now. They're moving, their job's changing, but they're a believer, and they're facing all of this crisis. But in the midst of it, they're still just moving forward. They're like positive. They're all about helping make this building project complete, and just being a part of what God is doing here. And it's really cool to see the calmness and the just confidence that they have because of their relationship with Christ. And so it's in the midst of this epidemic, it's really interesting to see how people's attitudes are different. There's a passage that I love that I wanted to share with you guys, then I'll let Aimee share her perspective on this, but it's from Matthew chapter 7, and these are the words of Christ himself. And he says, "Everyone then who hears these words of mine and does them will be like a wise man who built his house on the rock. And the rain fell, and the floods came, and the winds blew and beat on that house, but it did not fall because it had been founded on the rock." And to me, that really summarizes the life of the believer in the midst of all of this, because the rain is going to fall. The storms, they're going to come. I mean, it's just going to happen. This crisis will end, but there will be another crisis. And so we want to make sure that we're building our foundation on the rock. And so that's one thing that I feel like has been highlighted in my time with God during this whole crisis.
That's good. Yeah, mine goes kind of right along with yours because, talking about the foundation, and I don't know how many of you also, when he was saying that, was kind of singing the song in your head, the rains came down and the flood, the wise man built his house on the rock. But it is so true, because what I have been feeling is a friend of mine shared her thoughts about it the other day and used the age-old metaphor of a chrysalis and a caterpillar and a butterfly. But when you really think about it, there's so much peace in a process when you really trust the Creator. And I kind of realized in this time that, it can catch people off guard. It can make you feel like you're a victim. A storm can make you feel like a victim, like it did to, the apostles in the boat with Jesus. They felt like a victim and kind of overlooked that Jesus was right there with them. And so I've really tried to remind myself often that this is who I am, and God put me here, and He has equipped me and will continue to equip me to face and not just kind of weather the storm, but to use it to shape me into something better that He really determined in advance for me to be during this time. And so I've really just been leaning into it. Like, this is in my DNA to do this. This is in what God created my soul to do in this time. And He's not just kind of not present right now. He's not just like not active right now. He's active, He's present, He's doing something. And it's been really exciting. I think I've developed a new strength, and I can even possibly call Him a new name because of what knowledge He's moved from my head to my heart in this, and that would be just a provider. This isn't the launch that we determined a long time ago. This is not launching on Mother's Day with no children's classes, with all these protocols and so forth we have to do. We were thinking we were going to just blow the roof off this place on Sunday, which I hope we still do. But I understand because of what's going on, it might feel a little different, but it's okay. Because God knows exactly what needs to happen this weekend. And if we lean into it and trust Him and just put one foot in front of the other, it's going to be exactly what it's supposed to be. And so I've just learned to really rest in that. Rest in Him on the boat, and we're all going to get to the other side a little better than we were before. So
that's right. I mean, our God's a God of peace. He's a God who brings us like the comfort that in the middle of a storm like this. So that's exciting, and we want you guys to be prepared for this weekend because it is going to be a huge celebration. Like Aimee said, it's not exactly what we thought when we had it when we were thinking about that first day in the new building. It's maybe not going to look exactly like that, but we've been able to reach people online. We've been able to develop some things like our online experience that probably wouldn't be where it is right now if all of this hadn't have happened. So we kind of wanted to share a few details about this weekend and what it's going to look like so that you guys could come ready.
Right. There's a lot of questions we've been asked, and so we wanted to use this time as kind of a question and answer to make sure that you feel equipped of what's going to happen and that you feel safe to take any measures that you feel like you need to take to keep you and your family safe. I think the first thing we want to point out is that we will still have online church this weekend. If you are not ready to come and be in the building, that's okay. And we are happy to still provide the online service at 10 a.m. There'll be a chat. And then after that, you can catch it anytime during the day on our YouTube channel. So the first line is we still have church online this weekend. And then take a step up from that. Randy, what are we doing for those people who are like immune compromised or kind of categorized in the older part of our generation?
Right. Well, as many of you know, we had decided before any of this happened to add an 8:30 experience to our 3 experiences we've had all along, and so we are adding that 8:30 experience, and that's going to be for those of you who maybe feel like you're not sure. Maybe you feel like I might be a little more susceptible, but I still feel like I could go if there's some kind of measures put in place to help protect me. So at the 8:30, what we're doing is we're making that a mask mandatory meeting. That first experience, if you're here, we're asking you to bring your mask with you, to be wearing that as you come in. And that way, all of our staff, all of our volunteers will be wearing them as well. And also, there won't have been anybody else in the building yet, so the building will have been completely sanitized and clean. So that would be the smartest time for you to come if you have some concerns about it. And one thing I'll say, too, is that we believe that y'all have heard about all of this and all the risks and how to protect yourself all through this whole time. And we believe that you know best for yourself. You've probably talked to your healthcare provider. You know best what you need to do personally for you to protect yourself.
Right. Yes. And so we definitely just wanted to offer that 8:30, that if you feel like your best option is the first one of the morning and wearing the mask, that is great. You can bring your family with you. We're kind of asking that is a service for people who are 60 and above and immune compromised, but of course you can come to church with your family. We just ask that they also wear the mask to respect the others who are coming at that time to have that more protected service. And then after that, well, let's go ahead and talk about real quick how it'll be in the auditorium even for the 8:30. What kind of measures do we have in there to make sure that everyone's not just gathered on top of each other in there?
Well, one thing that we're asking everybody to do is we want to maximize the space we have in the auditorium, but we also want to keep a safe distance, but especially between groups who maybe haven't been exposed to each other up to now or have been in quarantine together. So if there's a group like your family, your extended family, there might even be some of you have some friends who are like family that you've been around during this whole time. You've kind of been quarantined together in a way. We want you to feel like you have the freedom to sit together. So what we'd ask you to do is come together, like come through the front doors of the building together. So try to gather together. You come in and let our ushers know, hey, we're all one group. We've kind of been sheltering in place together, and so we would love to sit together. And our ushers then will do the best they can to seat y'all all like on the same row. But we're inside the auditorium. We're going to leave a row. Every other row is going to be left empty, and so we're just asking for your patience and cooperations with our usher team, as they're going to be doing everything they can to help you guys move into the auditorium, have a seat. Then they'll be coming back to the doors and just walking y'all in, kind of like the old school wedding works, where you're coming in and you're waiting for the ushers to actually take you to your seats.
Right, and we will open the doors to the auditorium about 15 minutes early. Usually it's about 5 minutes, and this is just to make sure everyone gets seated. And another important thing to note about this weekend is, unfortunately, we are not going to have any kids' classes. The governor has specified that at least through May 15th. So this weekend there are no kids' classes, and you'll just have to stay tuned week to week to get an update on how that's progressing. But we do have something special for the kids, because we know they can be a little squirmy inside. And so our Edge Kids pastor, Brittany, has put together a little bag for them that's kind of class specific. And so they can check in. We will have volunteers, mask and gloves, doing the check-in, and then also handing your child their little bag for the service. So we haven't forgotten about those little ones. We know it's going to be a little more of a struggle for mom and dad in the auditorium, but we're doing our best to come alongside and partner with you guys so it can be a great experience for everyone.
And one other thing I might add to that as well, some of you may be wondering, are we going to have the donuts? Are we going to have the coffee, all of the food and things like that? Right now, we're not going to do that. You are welcome to bring your drink with you. You can bring your own drink in, bring it into the auditorium, and that's fine. And we encourage that. So feel free to do that in terms of like food and drink that we're going to have. Those will be coming back. Don't worry. Eventually, we'll be bringing those back.
Right. If by chance we get to a capacity in the auditorium, we're going to have to, sadly, but excitedly, because that's a great problem, ask somebody to maybe wait for the next experience. And I can just tell you from experience that the 10 a.m. is usually the most attended. And so if you and your family want to pick perhaps the 1 p.m., maybe the 11:30, if you usually come to the 10, that might be a good option, because we will have to limit the amount of people in the auditorium and even in the lobby. So if that happens, you may have to wait in your car for the next experience, or go get a breakfast burrito or a donut or something and come back, because we do want to see you, and I know you want to see this It's amazing, and we want you each to get to be a part of it. Just because of the guidelines, we're going to have to put a limit on the capacity. But I feel like with the 4 services that it's going to be accommodating.
It's going to be a blast, guys. I can't wait. I've gotten to listen to our worship team rehearse in the auditorium. I've just the way the lobby feels. There's kind of some cool tables like this where you can, like stand and gather a little bit. We're really excited about we're excited for you to get to see it, honestly.
Yes, and you will be able to walk through the hallways of the kids' rooms, which will be exciting for your little ones, because I know that there's probably a lot of kids out there who are thinking, Mom and Dad have changed churches once you walk in here. They will not recognize what's going on. And so we wanted to give you a chance to walk through the hallways. There'll be some volunteers kind of directing you in that pathway. And so the kids can see, just kind of pass by their rooms, and some of the teachers will be there in the doorway waving to them so they can start to get familiar with the face and match it to the place. So,
yeah, it's going to be a lot of fun. So, guys, get ready for this weekend. Invite your friends and family, but make the right choice for you. Nobody's going to judge you if you decide this weekend isn't the weekend for me to start coming. We don't want you to feel like that's what this is. We know and trust that you're going to prayerfully make the right decision for you and your family, and we're trying to provide as many options as we possibly can, and knowing that one of those will fit you. So I don't know. Do you have anything else, Aimee?
I think that's it. There's going to be some incredible merchandise available this weekend, new shirts that say welcome home and have our new logo. And so you're going to want to take advantage of those. Just do mind the social distancing, 6 feet when we're in the building together. We do have to remind you about that. But it's going to be a great weekend. This is the weekend we've waited for 7 years. And no matter how we have to do it, we're going to do it. And we're going to be excited and blessed. And I can't wait to gather with you guys in a safe way.
Yeah, it's going to be good. When you come to park, just would encourage you guys to park and leave space. Let's be good neighbors to United. People are needing to come in and out to get groceries, so the spots immediately in front of United, and maybe the ones just behind those spaces immediately in front of United, we want to use those. Those are for their customers, but otherwise, over in front of the old stage building, in front of our building, even behind the building, there's quite a bit of parking area back there as well. So we're going to be encouraging some of our serve team members to even park over on this grass lot, just to make sure there's plenty of space for everybody to park. But just kind of be mindful of that and try to leave that space available. Yeah,
we'll be having our golf carts running as usual. But I know this is a big info dump kind of session here, but, a new space and new guidelines, there's a lot to just inform you about, and I know everyone likes to feel equipped and informed, so that's why we wanted to do this. If you still have any questions, let us know, comment, or send a message or an email to the church, and we will definitely get back with you. We want you to feel prepared.
All right, guys, that's all we have for you for this midweek service. It's been great just getting to share with you, and share this with your friends. Be sure to, like I said, invite like crazy. We look forward to seeing you this weekend here at The Edge.